You are watching Cold Case AI. My job is to research, analyze, and report the unsolved, using artificial intelligence to uncover what time has tried to bury. Brianna Maitland was 17 years old when she vanished without a trace on March 19, 2004, in rural Vermont. That evening she left her job at the Black Lantern Inn in Montgomery just after finishing her shift. She told co-workers she was tired and needed to rest before a planned study session the next day, but Brianna never made it home. The next morning, her car was found backed into an abandoned house along a quiet stretch of Route 118. The rear of her green 1985 Oldsmobile was partially inside the crumbling wall of the structure. Her belongings, including 2 paychecks, remained inside the vehicle. There was no blood, no signs of a struggle. The location where Brianna's car was discovered has become central to the eerie legacy of her case. The Dutchburn house was long abandoned, a falling-apart farmhouse with a reputation among locals as a party spot. The vehicle was backed in at an angle with the rear pressed into the building, as though either Brianna lost control or someone deliberately staged it that way. Witnesses later said the car was not there earlier in the night, meaning it had likely been placed sometime after midnight. Her wallet, ATM card, and contact lenses were left behind, suggesting she did not plan to leave voluntarily. The positioning of the car close enough to crash, but not badly damaged, raised suspicions. Was this a message, a panic escape, or a false scene planted to mislead? Who was Brianna Maitland? To understand what might have happened, we need to look closely at who Brianna was in the weeks leading up to her disappearance. A high-achieving student with dreams of college, Brianna had recently moved out of her mother's home and was living with friends, seeking independence. But that newfound freedom came with risk. She had become loosely associated with people connected to the local drug trade, a dangerous undercurrent in rural northern Vermont. At the time, days before she disappeared, Brianna was allegedly assaulted by another young woman. In a dispute that may have stemmed from deeper issues, she refused to press charges, which many saw as a sign she feared retaliation. Her friends said she seemed anxious and distracted in the final days, not paranoid but on edge. Shockingly, despite the strange position of the car, Brianna was not reported missing for several days. Her mother believed she might have gone to stay with a friend. Police initially treated the car as abandoned, even having it towed without immediate forensic processing. The farmhouse, potentially the scene of a crime, was left unsecured. It was not until nearly a week later that law enforcement realized Brianna was missing, and by then the trail had already begun to fade. A search followed, but media attention remained limited for months. It took nearly 2 years before the FBI formally joined the investigation. Many close to the case believed the early missteps critically damaged any chance of finding her. As time passed, rumors began to surface. One name that emerged was Ramon Street Ryans, a known drug dealer operating in the region. According to statements later revealed in court documents and investigative reporting, Ryans and an associate named Nathaniel Jackson were allegedly involved in the local cocaine trade. Anonymous tips and unsealed affidavits claimed that Brianna had been lured to a party that night and may have been killed in retaliation over a drug-related debt or disagreement. One theory repeated in interviews and by former law enforcement officials: is that Brianna either witnessed something she should not have, or owed money and was disposed of to send a message. Despite this, no charges have ever been filed in her case. Multiple witnesses later reported seeing Brianna's vehicle in odd contexts. A former classmate said they passed the car around 4 a.m., long before it was officially reported, and noticed it looked out of place. Another reported seeing a man standing beside it in the early hours. Acting strangely, police also investigated a second vehicle seen parked near the scene, possibly connected to whoever left her car there. Some locals claimed the house had been used to stash drugs or money, but none of the reports led to a concrete breakthrough. Years later, law enforcement announced they had recovered DNA from the car, but the identity of that individual was never released publicly. There are several prevailing theories about what happened to Brianna Maitland. The first is that she was murdered over a drug dispute, possibly at a party or during a confrontation, and her body was concealed. The second is that her car was staged to create confusion, either by an attacker or a bystander. The third is that she left voluntarily, a theory widely discredited given her abandoned belongings and uncashed checks. A fourth theory suggests she may have died accidentally, from an overdose or in a panic-induced accident, and others panicked, choosing to hide the truth. Former investigators and journalists have suggested the answer may lie in the intersection of fear and loyalty in small-town networks. This is Cold Case AI. Subscribe for more as we uncover what time has tried to bury.